This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tel Tanner.
Back on a Monday for the Lancer Locker. This is KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. I'm Tel Tanner, keeping you company for the next little while as we talk archery at Mount Marty University. The archery program coming into today has already had a little bit of action so far this winter, this spring. Indoor arenas, obviously. They're able to do some things over at the National Field Archery Association headquarters here in Yankton. They've also got some really big meets coming up, including one in Chicago in February and Vegas in March. They've got a lot of things coming up, including national shoots, the Vegas shoot. We're going to talk about all of it upcoming with the head coach of the program and a couple of the Mount Marty Archers themselves. We're going to go to our week in review of Lancer Athletics first. Before we really get into those interviews that happened a little earlier today, we had them in this morning getting ready for everything here today. But I can tell you the two athletes that are coming in are Maren and Chloe. That is Maren Sanders and Chloe Madison. Those are the two athletes that came in earlier today to talk with me, as well as the head coach of the program in Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson for the NFAA Easton Yankton Archery Center. He's a big guy over there, does a lot for him, and he's now the head coach of the Lancers Archery program as well. So we spoke with those three people all earlier today for the Lancer Locker. Now let's go ahead and go to our week in review for Lancer Athletics, some of the things that have just happened. We'll start it off with the basketball teams. The Mount Marty basketball teams really had some good performances over the weekend. They did come up short in Orange City, 2 losses to Northwestern, but the Lancer women's team almost knocked off a team receiving votes, and the men's basketball team nearly upset the number 3 ranked team in the nation. Let's talk about it here. Mount Marty women's basketball lost to Northwestern on Saturday, 79-67 in Orange City. Kayla Martinez posted game highs in scoring with 27 points and assists with 6. Sydney Thuy had 13 and Emma Jarofsky added 11. They also scored in double figures. The Lancers are back in action on Wednesday, hosting Doane in a men's-women's doubleheader here in Yankton in the Simple Arena. For the Lancer men, they nearly upset the number 3 team in the nation once again, the Northwestern Red Raiders, on Saturday in Orange City, Iowa. They eventually did fall 73-64, but man, was that game close late. Free throws ended up late in the game. Lancers had to foul. Northwestern did not miss free throws. That extended their lead at the end. Tashlyn Day led the Lancers with 15 points and 9 rebounds. Damon Opdahl added 11 off the bench. The Lancers are back in action on Wednesday, hosting Doane in a men's-women's doubleheader once again. Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock in the Simple Arena, MMU versus Doane. Let's keep it rolling with Lancer Athletics here as we talk about indoor track and field over the program. Mount Marty track and field standout Logan Ferrari broke his own school record again. He's doing that a lot. Broke his own school record in the 3,000 meter over the weekend, and the Lancers claimed a pair of event titles at the Concordia Classic indoor track and field meet. Ferrari won the 3,000 with a time of 8 minutes, 38.33 seconds. Maya Zoner earned the second event win for the Lancers, clearing 11, 7, and 3/4 in the women's pole vault. Next up for the Lancers is the SDSU D2 NAIA Open, January 31st through February 1st. That is this upcoming weekend. You're listening to Lancer Athletics on a KYNT. I'm Tel Tanner. Let's go ahead and take that break now. We'll come back with the head coach of the program for Mount Marty Archery in Michael Anderson. That coming up next. You're listening to 102.1 FM AM 1450 KYNT.
Hey son, can you hand me that vice grip?
As any farmer or rancher knows, having the right tools in the toolbox is important. That goes for your ag lending as well. If you're considering expansion, restructuring debt, or purchasing equipment, call Dakota Mac. We have a toolbox full of lending solutions to help you with your ag financing needs.
Hi, it's Jeff Wolfgram from Dakota Mac. Call us at 800-682-4578 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Carbless handcrafted premium cocktails are a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila-based cocktail with no carbs, no sugar, gluten-free, and only 100 calories. It's guaranteed to be bursting with flavor in every sip. The Carbless Mix Pack is sure to please any crowd with a compilation of all the best-selling ready-to-drink cocktails, including sweet, citrus, and a twist of tequila flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and margarita. Grab some today. Carbless Cocktails. Less is more.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
If you want a job where your work matters, you belong at Avera. Here, we've invested in our workforce because every Avera team member drives our health ministry forward, making a difference in lives and communities every day. We offer competitive pay, great health insurance, and even career opportunities. We're putting people first, including you. Search for local job openings and apply at avera.org/careers.
A big thank you from Mount Marty University to one of Yankton's greatest employers and friend of the community, Aztec. They're very proud to support the Mount Marty Lancers. The vision at Aztec is to build industry-changing solutions that create life-changing opportunities. And you can build a career with the group that's built to connect from rock to road. Click careers at aztecindustries.com. Best wishes, Mount Marty, from your friends at Aztec.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker. You're listening to 102.1 FM AM 1450. I am Tel Tanner here for KYNT. Now we'll go to the head coach of the Mount Marty University Archery Program in Michael Anderson, also working at the NFA Easton Yankton Archery Center. Coach Anderson, first year head coach coming in, interim head coach since you're working at the Archery Center as well. Can you tell me about your role this year and kind of what it's kind of looked like, and also your job at the Archery Center?
Sure, yeah. I've been a competitor since, I was about 13 or 14. We, like I said, as the NFA, we are the governing body for several different events throughout the course of the year. There's two main competitive archery organizations in the United States, USAA, U.S. Archery Association, and the NFA, National Field Archery Association. And we host tournaments throughout the year. For example, the tournament we just had this last weekend is the USAA Nationals. And that organization has several satellite tournaments throughout the country. Their nationals are at about 25 or 30 different locations, and then there's a shoot down at the end of the year to determine the national championship. The National Field Archery Association, we have our tournament in one location, and all the archers, basically it's settled right then and there at that location. The NFA, what we also do is the National Field Archery Association Foundation, we host the world's largest indoor tournament, which is the Vegas shoot coming up in March. So we do a lot of different events out at the Archery Center, not that are all NFAA. We have USAA events out there as well. So
Before we keep rolling with some of the other nitty-gritty of collegiate archery itself, give me the Lancers' performance in this last Nationals. How did y'all do last weekend?
They've done pretty well. I'm not sure exactly right off the top of my head. I know we had a few first-place finishes. I know Chloe and Maren did pretty well. With collegiate archery, I've been a competitor for quite a while, but collegiate archery was kind of new to me. I started as the coach last September. And in collegiate archery, there's men's and women's classes, and then there's compound, pins, which is a lot of people call bow hunter because you have to shoot short stabilizer and no magnification. Then there's freestyle or recurve, and then there's barebow recurve. So there's 4 basic classes for collegiate archery. Chloe and Maren here both shoot what's called compound, or also known as freestyle, which means they can shoot magnification, long stabilizers, pretty much no limitations on their equipment. And they both did fairly well at the event last weekend, the USA Nationals.
You mentioned the two archers that are also in the studio here in Chloe Madison and Maren Sanders. We're going to talk with the both of them coming up here in a little bit. But first, give me a preview. Tell me about them, not just as archers, but as people.
Well, they're both captains. The whole team looks up to them. They've been with the team for 4 years. They're both seniors, which we're hating to lose them next year. Yeah, they're both pretty seasoned competitors. They've both done fairly well over the past. It's kind of funny. I can't remember what place you guys ended up in, but I think you were one place apart. So they're both pretty competitive shooters. So
let's keep talking about the upcoming schedule here for the archery program. You said you just had that NFAA nationals there, and now you go into NFAA Indoor Nationals, February 13th through the 16th. You've got a little bit of time before that comes up. The Midwest Sectionals coming up February 8th and 9th as well. What are some of the things you're wanting to get working on in practice with some of these athletes getting ready for these programs? What does practice look like for archery?
Practice is right now, we're doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4 till about 6. Now, a lot of the archers come in during off hours and shoot on their own free time. One thing I did mention to the team early on in the year is if you want to excel in archery, you're not going to do it shooting 2 or 3 days a week. When I shot a lot, I was shooting nearly every day, which most of the team is doing because your competitors are doing that. Your competitors are shooting every day, at least a round per day. We're participating in the Fall League, which requires us to shoot one score. We usually do that on Mondays. And we run that through the NFAA, and that's nationwide. You can kind of compare your scores to all your competitors that you'll see at the Nationals, for example. You can see how you're doing against them. And then practices for Wednesdays and Thursdays, they just work on shot or whatever they feel. I always tell people, figure out one thing you want to work on with your game and then focus on that. Sometimes there's little things you can fix, but there's usually something large that will provide the biggest benefit, which might not be the easiest thing to fix either. So archery is largely mental, but you do have to be in somewhat of good shooting form too, which usually takes a few weeks to get, of shooting on a fairly regular basis to get your muscles back in shape too. So, but archery indoor especially is very, very mental. You have to have a tough mental game.
Let's talk about the specifics of shooting in practice here, because I feel like a lot of people, if they're not familiar with archery, especially in the practice side, they think practice and they'll think of like a basketball practice or a football practice, and it's nothing like that. Obviously with an individual sport like this, but obviously all the team there. Sure. What does it look like when someone comes in? Is it repetition, just as many arrows as you can get, trying to get closer to that bullseye, or what's going on there?
A lot of people call it getting their reps in as opposed to practicing. So that's what it is a lot of times. A lot of times we will have, especially on league night, with archery tournaments, you have 2 rounds of practice. You shoot either 5 arrows or 3 arrows per round. So you'll have 2 rounds of practice, and then you go right into scoring. Scoring round is usually anywhere between 30 and 60 arrows for indoors. So a lot of archers will shoot their league score, and then they will shoot some before or after that to kind of get their arrow count up, to keep their shooting shape continually improving. With archery, like I said, it's primarily mental, but the more you do, it's like anything, the more you do free throws or the more you do kicking field goals or throwing passes, it gets to be kind of muscle memory. My coach always had a saying is that, our amateurs practice until they get it right, where a pro practices until they can't get it wrong. So with shooting more and more, you get to where you trust your shot. And with watching each of them now, it's kind of funny, I can watch and I can tell by how the minute the bow fires whether they like the shot or not. And what you kind of see, and I'm seeing a little bit, is more and more you'll have those shots that the shooter doesn't like. That gets more and more scarce as time goes on, because archery, especially high-level competitive archery, is a game to where a perfect score, usually there will be several archers tied with a perfect score. It's not like golf to where you have your scores are stratified. Indoor archery is very, very competitive, and the scores have gotten very, very tight. So 1 or 2 bad shots can take you out of a competition, basically. So
let's talk about something with an archery program like this that I feel like I'm the most interested in of all of these topics. Excuse me. Of all of these topics, and that is taking bows and arrows on airplanes, which has got to be interesting, because you're going to these shoots in Chicago and Vegas. Sure. You're not going to go there and just pick up a random bow that is provided for you. You're taking your own, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So how does that work going on the airplane?
Yep, and with that archery equipment, as I tell people, it's a lot like golfing equipment, where somebody that's 5'4", we need somebody that's a set of clubs that's different, somebody that's 6'4". So your draw length, which is the amount that you pull the bow back, your draw weight, which is how heavy it is, that's all sized for each of these archers, and it's all custom. Maren's bow is different than Chloe's bow, which would be different than my bow. So, but for travel, we take them in. Essentially, it's like a golf case almost. It's a very protective padded case. When I competed, I would usually take 2 bows, I don't know if you guys are, most of the Marty archers are just taking one bow, but you have plenty of spare arrows, and a lot of times they'll have a spare release, which I mentioned the girls shoot Maren and Chloe shoot in the freestyle class, which means they can let go of the bowstring with a thing called a release, which you actually don't let go with your finger. So having extra equipment, all that stuff, but it's similar to like a firearms case or a golf case, and it's a very protective case that is airline approved. And when you travel, that's just part of the nature of it. You get there, you want to practice. You want to make sure your sights didn't get adjusted, didn't get damaged, your bow didn't get damaged, things like that. So,
when speaking of the airlines themselves, have you ever had problems getting through on the plane with your bow?
Fortunately, I never did. We have the NFA. We have a tournament out in Redding, California. One year, my bow turned up missing, but they delivered it to the airport, or they delivered it from the airport to the hotel at like 4 a.m. the day before competition. So I was able to compete, but I've had friends that have had bows turn up missing, turn up damaged, things like that. But it's pretty rare because the airlines, they want to avoid the black eye of damaging somebody's equipment. So
especially how expensive some of these bows are. How expensive would you say they are?
Typical setup, you're talking arrows, your sight, your scope, stabilizer, everything that goes on a bow would probably be, I would say, low end $1,500, high end $3,000 for a setup. It depends on the level of arrows that you want to put on it, the level of sights, things like that. So somewhere in that neighborhood. You can get into archery for a lot cheaper than that, but once you start moving up and getting into competitive equipment, the cost goes up. So,
well, you're competing at nationals, so you got the good stuff.
Exactly. You can buy $300 golf clubs or $3,000 golf clubs. So, yep.
Let's talk about Chicago and Vegas. Those seem to be the really big ones coming up. February 13th through the 16th in Chicago, Vegas, March 4th through the 10th. And then you go to outdoors out in May in Michigan. Can you tell me about some of these upcoming tournaments and what you're expecting from your team?
Sure, yeah. Like I said, indoors is really, it's a mental game to where you can't miss very many or you'll be completely out of the competition. Indoor, generally people a lot of times use larger diameter arrows, a lot of times aluminum arrows, because the distance is only 20 yards or 20 yards for the nationals, and it's 18 meters for Vegas, so which is like 9 inches different. So it's all 60 feet. If anybody plays baseball, you can be familiar with the distance between the pitcher's mound to the home plate. It's 60 feet. Once outdoor season rolls up, collegiate, I believe, shoots 60, 50, and 40 yards. And for the NFA, for example, we shoot some stuff that's up to 80 yards. And I mentioned like Redding, where I had the bow problem. My bow turned up missing. For that tournament, you shoot up to 101 yards at a 13-foot tall Bigfoot target. So wow. There's some novelty events that go on. So, and I think, well, actually for the USA event, don't you guys shoot 50 meters at that one? Okay, so that'd be 50 meters. So, and that's, like I said, I'm asking gals because I've never shot that type of archery myself, so I'm not sure what they shoot in collegiate archery. I shot when I was in college, but it was always through the NFA. It wasn't through collegiate archery. That's been a program that's really kind of been brought about since I was in college, 20, 25 years ago. So
sure. No, that sounds really interesting. Coach, we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back with those two athletes you brought in. But first, is there anything you want to leave us with talking about the archery season?
No, we have a good crew this year. Everybody wants to, early on, I wasn't sure where everybody was at, but everybody wants to improve and they want to work on their game. It's good to see people being able to isolate problems and work them out and generally improve. That's one thing that with archery, it's an individual sport, but they've made it into kind of a team sport to where scores from all the different classes that I mentioned earlier all count towards your team score. So it's good to see. It's good to see everybody getting as much enjoyment. I tell people I can never guarantee I'm going to make you a Vegas champion, but I can usually get you to improve within your own personal game. So, and everybody seems to be kind of coming along this year a little bit. So,
as Coach Michael Anderson of the Mount Marty Lancer Archery Program. We'll take a break, come back in a couple of minutes with a couple of captains from this program, Chloe Madison and Maren Sanders. This is KYNT's The Lancer Locker.
At Pizza Ranch, your favorite pizza is just a request away. This is Mike with Yankton Pizza Ranch, and every day you can enjoy the buffet your way. Step 1, ask for your favorite pizza at the counter, and we'll bake it fresh just for you. Step 2, get the first slice hot out of the oven. Step 3, rejoice and repeat. It's everyone's favorite buffet, Monday through Friday, 11 to 1:30, and 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 8.
Whoa, that's good.
Quit hitting the snooze button on your new career. Parker offers day one benefits and an employer who puts you first. Grind through the workday in your own specialty. Assembler, material handler, or line operation tech. Don't mind working nights? Enjoy a pay differential of $2.35. Choose your shift and enjoy day one benefits. This isn't just a job, it's your future. Join us today. Find more information and apply now at parker.com.
Parker, engineering your success.
The Dakota Theater in Yankton is always in need of volunteers. There's something for everyone, such as being involved with shows on or off stage, selling concessions, greeting, ushering, cleaning before and after, cleaning the bathrooms, organizing, helping with the lights, the sound, the costumes, decorating, and more. The Dakota Theater in Yankton is so grateful for every volunteer. Theaters for everyone. For more information, go to dakotatheater.org or call 665-4711.
2025 means big savings on 2024 Fords at Lewis & Clark Ford. This is Brandon Tykrow. We are really bringing in the new year with these great deals. Up to $8,000 off 2024 Ford Broncos, up to $11,000 off 2024 Ford F-150s, and up to $12,000 off 2024 Ford Expeditions. Start the new year with a new Ford and save on new Broncos, F-150s, and Expeditions now. See our selection at lewisandclarkford.com or 4th and Capitol Yankton.
At Triple Time Rudy's, not only do you get top-notch fuel to keep you on the move, but it's a destination for delicious local treats. You'll find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. It's your community's pit stop for more than just fuel. Triple Time Rudy's supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, stop by Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
New year, new you. It's time to kick off those resolutions with Michelob Ultra. Why sacrifice taste when you can have it all? Michelob Ultra is here to help you stay on track while still enjoying life to the fullest. With its crisp, light taste and low calories, Michelob Ultra is the perfect companion for your active lifestyle. So raise a glass of Michelob Ultra and toast to a year filled with balance, health, and unforgettable moments. Cheers to a new year, new goals, and the perfect beer to help you achieve them.
All right, we're back here on the Lancer Locker on a KYNT. My name is Tel Tanner. Now we go to Chloe Madison, Maren Sanders, a couple of seniors in the booth talking Mount Marty University archery. First up, let's start it off with, you're both seniors. You're going into your final spring of competing at the college level in archery. You're about to graduate. That's got to be interesting. We'll start with Maren here. Has that started to set in yet?
Not really, because I plan on going to grad school, so I don't feel like it's really kicking in yet. But it'll be interesting what happens in the spring.
You get to extend the college years a couple more with the with grad school.
For sure.
So what are you going for grad school for?
The CPA, which is Certified Public Accountant, because I'm getting my undergrad in accounting. Only about 3 semesters with where I'm looking, so it'll only be 1 more year.
Let's go over to Chloe now. What's your major? What are you going to do with it after college? Are you also going to grad school?
No. I mean, maybe in the future, but I'm an elementary ed major,
okay.
So I'll be teaching after this year. I have a minor in special ed as well. So work with kids and bring them joy. They bring me joy, so I'll probably go back in the hometown area to find a job.
Nice. Where'd you do your student teaching?
At Stewart Elementary.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, shout out. That environment, they have a good school, good administration, and my CT that I worked with, she is the most amazing teacher that I've seen, and she's such a good role model, and we built a strong connection, so that helped me solidify my enjoyment in teaching, having that experience.
When was that exactly, your student teaching?
So at Mount Marty, they do the student teaching in the fall so that you can see the setting of the environment, and then you can see how the teacher sets their rules and their behavior management plan, and see how that grows and how that works, rather than doing it in the spring. They're coming back from break, but they already set all those behavior management systems and reward systems. And so you're kind of just being thrown in it in the spring. So they wanted us to see how this school year starts and how you like step into a classroom where you don't know these kids and you have to build those relationships with those kids. And it was amazing.
So you just finished, in other words.
Yes.
That was this fall. You just finished the student
fall.
teaching.
Yes.
What does the final semester look like for an elementary education major? You get to take it pretty easy for a semester?
Yeah.
Good.
I have one class that deals with like my major, which is seminar. We meet once a week, but to be a competitor for archery, I have to have a full course load. So I'm taking classes with Dave Colley, ceramics, Daniel Slowey. He does indoor and outdoor sports, and so my course load is pretty light this semester, it makes me more excited for graduation because I don't have to stress about all these tests and all that.
That's a good thing because it's about to get really crazy for you if you're going to go teach elementary school.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Let's go back to Maren here as we move on, as we talk about kind of your final semester of archery. Do you have any personal goals coming into this season that you really want to accomplish in your senior year?
Yeah. So my goals are just to improve and just to get more comfortable under pressure within the archery world, and then to help my team succeed too. There's been a couple others that are struggling, so I'm trying to help them out too, and that's always fun to see others succeed.
Let's talk about your division itself. I know there's 4 different divisions in freestyle compound, freestyle recurve, bow hunter or pins, and barebow recurve. What do you shoot?
So I shoot freestyle or open. So I have the long stabilizers, the scopes, the magnification.
All the bells and whistles.
All of it. It's fun. Sometimes it gets a little much, but that's okay. Because if you want, you just have to get used to it. Like, it's just part of the game in that division, and it's all fun.
I guess something I haven't even thought about. Is that bow heavy then? How much does all that equipment actually weigh? Or is it all specially made pretty light?
It depends because you can add weight, take off weight. Right now it's probably around 5 pounds. And because I'm shorter, my bow is lighter than like if someone who is longer because the bow itself is shorter. But my weight right now is pretty light, so it's probably around 5 pounds.
I gotcha. So that all that equipment doesn't add too much. I was sitting here thinking like, there's no way this is like 20, 30 pounds. There's no way. How much is the draw though?
The draw weight I have is pretty high for a girl, collegiately, which is around 52 pounds.
Okay.
And then like when I'm at full draw, I'm holding 16.
Oh, all right.
So
let's talk, go back over to Chloe then, and we talk, what's your division? What do you shoot?
So I shoot the same division as Maren, but my setup's a little differently because there is a major height difference between the two of us. I'd say my bow weighs a little less than hers. She has more weight on her stabilizers than I do. And her, like, my draw length is much longer because of my height, but my draw weight is much lower than Maren's, which means I'm holding less. So I'm drawing about 41 pounds back, which means I'm holding with my let off about 8 pounds. So much different than what Maren shoots. But like Michael said earlier, it's very customizable to you, as everybody shoots differently. We're all different heights and all that, strength-wise too. So it's all different. But I shoot open. It's a very tough, fun division to shoot. These girls that we shoot against are amazing, and they're so much fun. Like, the difference between the atmospheres between divisions are so different. Our division is very tough, but it's so fun. Like, we make friends at every tournament that we go to, and we get to see them at other tournaments that we go to as well. So,
do you have any goals coming into this spring?
This year I've grown, in score-wise and mental-wise. Like, I'm not worried about other people shooting that I'm shooting next to as much as I used to be, which is, you can't worry about other people while you're shooting. You got to worry about yourself. But I struggled with that a lot. And so my growth from that has improved a lot. And to just like continue to have fun. I started shooting when I was like 11 years old, and my coach back then was like, it's about fun. Like, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. You could shoot the best score, but if you're not having fun, like, what's the point? Like, just to hit the target. Like, you want to build those relationships with the people that you're shooting with, because they make that sport fun.
Let's talk about the move to Yankton and what's kind of become home over the last couple of years. We'll start this time with Chloe. Keep it right here with you. You're from Lincoln, Nebraska, correct?
Yes, born and raised, but we just moved to Crete, Nebraska, which is about 30 minutes southwest of Lincoln. But I kind of bounce between here just because it's so close. I go home a lot, and then my fiance lives in the Omaha area. So I'm between Yankton, Omaha area, and the Lincoln Crete area. So I'm kind of all over.
That's really nice. Do you have goals after you graduate of where you're trying to end up? You're looking for an elementary school, obviously,
yes.
But where?
Probably in the Omaha Elkhorn area. It's a nice area, and my sister, I'm a family person, she just moved to the Omaha area, so I'll probably end up in that area as well.
I noticed the massive smile when you said fiance. Is that recent that you got engaged then?
Yeah, it was.
Congratulations
Thank
on that. Well done. We'll go over to Maren now. When you talk about where you're trying to end up, you got grad school, so there's still going to be a little bit of time there. But when it comes to where you're from and where you're going, you came from Minnesota, right? What's the name of your hometown?
I'm from Mora, Minnesota. It's in the middle of nowhere. But I think I'm going to stay around Yankton, Vermilion for the next year or so. And then after that, I have no idea. I've thought about staying out here, but I've also thought about going back to Minnesota. There's a lot up in the air. I try not to think about it because it's a bit crazy to think about, and it's all in my control. So I'm just taking it year by year.
Year by year, that's all you can do, and you've got a couple more years with grad school, obviously, going for that master's degree. Do you know where you're going for grad school? Is that here? You said you want to stay in the area.
Grad school will probably be in Vermilion at USD.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, Mount Marty doesn't have my grad program.
Sure.
So it's not really an option to stay at Mount Marty.
But it's not too far to go to USD.
Vermilion's
half hour.
Close, and I could stay in the Yankton area and stay with the friends I've had here for the last couple of years.
Long-term goals, if you could end up anywhere, even if it's just for a little while and then come back, where would you want to go?
I'm not sure. I've thought to stay in South Dakota for the rest of my life, but I've also thought going back and being close to family, as they helped get me here, and I like being close to my family, but also I want to build my own roots and make my own plans. So
all right,
it's up in there.
Well, as we finish up here today, I want to thank you both for letting us get to know you a little bit, and good luck on the season. Do you have any final message for your family or your support staff, even the Lancer fans that come to support you guys sometimes? We'll start it off here with Maren again. Final message as we sign off.
I just want to say thank you, because I did not get here by myself. There was a lot of help behind the scenes, and I couldn't have done it without them.
And Chloe?
Yeah, my family travels to a lot of my tournaments, and the support through the team and the some of my professors even, and my just coaches have been amazing. Past coaches as well. Like I still see them, and I couldn't, like Maren said, couldn't be here without everybody that has supported me.
Well, thank you both for coming in today. Good luck in your senior year, and go do something fun at Nationals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a couple of minutes and wrap things up. You're listening to 102.1 FM, AM 1450, KYNT.
Buying a home in this market can be frustrating. Having an experienced real estate agent is more important than ever. This is Deb Speck with Vision Real Estate, and I've been helping first-time home buyers, those needing a little more space, folks wanting to downsize, and investors for almost 20 years. For personalized service you can trust, call 605-664-5555, and we'll find your next home.
Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more. All at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmick cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. For your convenience, you can call and order curbside pickup or order online at meatlodge.com. The Meat Lodge in Yankton, on the way to the lake on Highway 52.
This is Jenny from Slumberland Furniture in Yankton. Looking for a refresh in your home? Want to change up your space? Take advantage of our free interior design service. We can help reimagine your room using new pieces that will work with what you currently have. At Slumberland, you'll find the best brand name furniture and quality mattresses with the best customer service possible. See us at 2401 Broadway in Yankton.
Sherco's electric accessories, more than just convenience, they're safety. Step back away from the moving parts and out of the dust. Operate your electric accessories with the push of a button. Everything from our 4500 series HD tarp to our ProTrap and AutoTrap hopper door openers to the DriveMax auger mover provide a safer working environment when teamed with the SureLink wireless system. To learn more, give us a call at 1-800-474-8756 or find us at Sherco.com. Demand the best. Demand Sherco.
James and I are having a beef.
About which Runza burger is best.
It's the savory Swiss mushroom. Hands down.
No, it's the double cheeseburger. 2 burgers, better than 1, 'cause math.
The spicy Jack burger is also good.
True. Wait, why are we fighting?
I forget. Come get your favorite Runza burger today, because Runza makes it all better.
Want the best fast food burger around? Try Runza on Broadway by Menards in Yankton. All right, back here for the final time on the Lancer Locker. This is KYNT 1021 FM AM 1450. I'm over time, so I'm going to make this short and get out of here today. I'm also a little under the weather, as is apparently the majority of Mount Marty University. We're all kind of going through it as everybody just came back from the holiday breaks. I'm going to go get some rest here, rest that voice, because we've got Lancer basketball coming up Wednesday evening versus Doane in the Simple Arena. 6 p.m. is the start time for that game. Make sure you are in the Simple Arena. Be there, be loud to cheer on the Lancers. Big thank you to the archery program for coming in today. Head coach Michael Anderson, as well as Chloe Madison and Maren Sanders, all for joining me on this broadcast of the Lancer Locker. I really enjoyed the talk with the three of them. Coach Anderson seems like a really good guy. And then obviously the two athletes coming in, Chloe and Maren, they seem like they're on the way to something pretty great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the archery program's able to do at the national competitions that they've got coming up. The last couple of years, they have really performed really well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do this year. Once again, we've got basketball on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. I'll see you then for more Lancer Athletics. Until that point, my name is Tel Tanner. This has been